What do a bucket of fried chicken, a silent execution chamber, and a cold slice of cheesecake have in common? They were all part of the final hours of men who committed some of the most disturbing crimes in recent U.S. history. In March 2025, 5 death row inmates finally met their fate, each carrying the weight of violent pasts and shattered lives. Some went to their deaths defiantly, others in eerie silence. From the first use of nitrogen gas to an old-school firing squad, these executions weren't just the end of lives. They reopened America's most controversial debate. Should the state decide who lives or dies? This isn't just a list of names and dates. These are twisted love stories, horrific betrayals, chilling regrets, and the final meals of men who knew death was coming. Aaron Gunch's lethal injection, March 19, 2025. Jealousy and violence collided on a desert highway in Arizona in 2002. Aaron Gunch's, consumed by rage and suspicion, lured his girlfriend's partner, Ted Price, into his car under the guise of helping him travel. But instead of a bus station, he drove into the desolate Beeline Highway. There, Gunch's pulled a gun and executed Price with 4 shots, cold and calculated. He left the body and vanished. He was stopped at a checkpoint the next day and opened fire on police. The manhunt lasted hours before he was found hiding in a barn. In court, he pled guilty, but due to drug shortages, his death sentence was delayed for years. Gunch's himself pleaded for the execution to be carried out, tired of waiting. On March 19, 2025, the needle finally went in. His last meal? A bizarre combo: Western-style burger, spicy gyros, onion rings, baklava. He died at 10:33 a.m. in death. He remained silent. But his execution reignited debate over death penalty delays and how long is too long to wait for justice. Edward James, lethal injection, March 20th, 2025. In 1993, Florida was shaken by a brutal double murder that made headlines for months. Edward James, intoxicated and enraged after a party, entered the home of 9-year-old Toni Nooner and her grandmother, Betty Dick. What happened next was unthinkable. He murdered both and restrained another young girl who witnessed the horror. He fled, but tips to America's Most Wanted led to his capture weeks later. He pleaded guilty in 1995 and accepted his death sentence. But when his execution day finally came, things didn't go smoothly. His lethal injection was delayed by 2 hours, and no reason was given. James refused a last meal. No final words, just silence. But witnesses said he looked nervous. During the injection, he visibly struggled, his body twitching as the drugs took hold. He was pronounced dead in the same hour as another man, Wendell Graham. Wendell Graham, lethal injection, March 20th, 2025. Just hours after Edward James, another killer took his final breath. Wendell Graham had broken into a house in Blaine County, Oklahoma in 2005. His goal, robbery. But inside was a family, Drew Kopp and his daughters. In the chaos, Graham shot Kopp and a young woman, Amber Matthews, who tried to shield the children. Arrested the same night at a nearby store, Graham showed no remorse. While his accomplice got life, Graham was sentenced to die. His last meal? Supreme pizza, Canadian bacon, vanilla ice cream, and Coke. Unlike others, Graham did speak. He apologized deeply to the victims' families, saying, "I will carry this regret to wherever I go next." His death came swiftly, but for the families, the pain will last forever.